So I just watched a brand new Denis Villeneuve film called Dune, and now this will be a non-spoiler review, so if you've not seen the movie yet, don't worry, we won't be spoiling it, but today I will be reviewing the brand new Timothée Chalamet, Denis Villeneuve, Oscar Isaac, Zendaya, Josh Brolin, Aquaman, Jason Momoa, I almost forgot his name, Dune movie, which is actually Dune Part 1, that's the technical name, but it's called Dune. But let's get into this review. Now, I do want to put a disclaimer and say that I've actually never read the books, or I don't even know how many books. I've never seen the original series, so I came into this fresh and raw. And if anyone keeps up with John Campea, you do know that his guest host, Robert Meyer Burnett, actually got to watch Dune early, and he said that he didn't know if people who have never read the books or are not familiar with Dune would like it. And let me tell you this, as someone who's never had any I've never been familiar with the story of Dune. Let me tell you, I loved it. I loved Dune. I loved it from beginning to end. And let me say a lot of the positives. First of all, I'm not even going to lie. When I finished this movie, I'm like, this feels like Star Wars A New Hope. And I actually talked to one of my friends, and he's actually a subscriber of this channel, by the way. He had read the books. He's a big Dune fan. He's yet to see the movie, and he said, "Yeah, because George Lucas was heavily inspired by the Dune books to create Star Wars." And I was like, "Oh, okay. I saw the little details there, but let's ignore that. First of all, the acting in this movie was just so good. Timothée Chalamet, a lot of his rage scenes, a lot of the scenes where he gets teary, I feel for him. I do think that this is a generational talent. Do I think he's the next M. Night? I mean, not M. Night. Why was I about to say him? Okay. Do I think he's the next Daniel Day-Lewis? I actually think he could be. I think he was the standout. All the other actors, Josh Brolin, I really liked him. Oscar Isaac didn't do much, but I still liked him in the limited role he was in. Zendaya, I've never been the biggest Zendaya fan. I think she's a great actress. I'm just not that big of a fan as many people are. In this movie, she does the exact same things Zendaya does in every movie, which is have kind of like this low voice, just talk. Like she looks bored in every movie to me. She's always had that boring facial expression in these movies, which I'm fine with because it fits the tone of this film. And Denis Villeneuve, first of all, let me just say the directing in this film is just so good. The cinematography looks great. But the number one thing I do want to mention about Dune is that the audio in the film is so good. Now, I'm a big audio guy. I love knowing that the audio is good in a movie. I love going into an IMAX theater and feeling the audio. When I'm here at home and I'm watching a movie or show that I've seen already, I'll put on the speakers. And to me, audio is just so important. Like when I started this YouTube channel, let me actually give you guys a little story time. When I started this YouTube channel, I think I had 70 subscribers, and I decided to buy this microphone. So a lot of people called me stupid for getting this microphone because it was like $120. But the thing is, I cared so much about audio for my videos that I just bought the mic, and I still had to use this terrible camera with no HD, no quality. If you go watch some of my old videos, I was using the camera on my MacBook, which sucks. Now I have a Logitech camera that actually looks good, but yeah, I had to get the mic first because that's just how I am. But the audio in this movie feels good. Let me use a scene in particular. Now, this isn't a spoiler because this is in the trailers. You see them escaping the worm monster. Timothée Chalamet's character and his mother. I can't remember the characters' names. I'm always awful at remembering character names. But in that scene, you hear like their footsteps, and they're trying to emphasize that every footstep they make is a lot of noise for that worm monster, because that worm monster can sense, it can hear the footsteps in the sand, and you hear like boom, 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 and you hear it, and it builds up tension. But throughout the movie, the audio is just so good. But first of all, the story, I was not aware of what Dune was even going to be about. I saw the trailers, I thought they looked great. The only thing I had was I just didn't know what it was about. It looked like a space sci-fi awesome story, and instead I got something even better, which is you had a political thriller, you had religious moments, you had so much. And let me actually say this, my favorite movie of all time is Zack Snyder's Justice League, which you can see back there. Because I know most of my subscribers are Zack Snyder fans, I'm not joking when I say this, there's parts in this movie that felt like Zack Snyder, like a Zack Snyder Justice League. It felt like it was doing something. because the main character, Timothy Chalamet, he can see the future. He can see stuff in the future, and it feels like it gives me those vibes. I don't want to spoil too much, but I get those vibes, and I feel like if you guys were to see it, you guys would understand what I'm talking about. But yeah, they bring in politics a lot into this movie. And I'm not saying politics like liberal and conservative. No, I'm talking about the politics within their world, about these two different worlds, these worlds colliding. But they also have a religious kind of thing where Timothy Chalamet's character is seen as a messiah. He's seen as a savior, and when they're in the sand, and he's talking to the people who live in within the sand. I forgot what the planet was called. What was it called? I can't pronounce. I don't know why I don't know the planet name. But in those scenes, you do feel like it gave me, as someone who's read the Bible multiple times, it gave me vibes of when Jesus was traveling with his 13 disciples. That's what it gave me vibes of, and I love that. I love that they're building up Timothy Chalamet's character to be this messiah figure, to be the savior, to be the hero, to be the one to lead the future, to be the hero, be the chosen one. And you see these visions, and this movie is setting up this big vision of how he'll eventually take he'll eventually, like, he's kind of fearful of things because he knows what's happening, he knows what's going on. And I love seeing the vision scenes. I love seeing how at first everyone's just like, this is just a child. You're telling me this child's a messiah? And I love the relationship, the very short-lived relationship of Oscar Isaac and Timothy Chalamet, who is father-son. I'm a sucker for father-son relationships in movies. It's always been one of my soft spots in movies. And I really like how, while you don't see too much, in every scene that they're together, you really feel Oscar Isaac caring for his son, caring for his kid. And I love that. And, I love how I also love stories of breaking tradition. For example, the tradition in this movie that they set up is that Oscar Isaac's a king of this planet, and it's been a tradition to be king of this planet over and over and over. But now Timothy Chalamet's tradition's a little broken because he has a different kind of power. He has this Messiah-like power, and now he's not just for his planet, he's now for this other sand planet, which I don't know why I can't remember the name. And I love the story of this political tension between these two sides trying to get the spice in this one land of a group of people who didn't even want to get invaded, but now they're having to fight invaders all the time, like for years and years and years. But I love the idea of the spice, and what I love about the spice is it's not easy to obtain. In the story, they say that the worm is protecting the spice because the spice is some of the most special things in the galaxy, the very well-known galaxy, and I like that politics are brought in and religious is brought in kind of as statements to the story. I'm trying not to spoil it so hard right now. It is hard to go into these details without spoilers, but that's what I'm trying to say. This movie provides great sci-fi. It provides great moments. Now, I do want to get into a very few negatives. Now, a lot of people were hoping this movie to be the best movie of the year. I'll say it's not in that top 5 best movies, but I'll say it's a great film. I don't think it's a masterpiece, but I think it's a great film. Now, let me get into some of the negatives. The negative I have with this movie is it's insanely slow. There are moments in this movie that are insanely slow. Now, granted, I understand it's for the narrative, it's for the story. I understand why they had so much exposition because the story requires you to understand the exposition happening in the story. But it's really slow. And to anyone wanting to watch this movie, my recommendation is before you go to a theater, yes, I'm saying theater, do not watch it on HBO Max because it's better in theaters. Doesn't matter how great your 4K TV is, it's nowhere near as good as a theatrical experience. And also go support Denis Villeneuve's film. But granted, while the movie was insanely slow, I understood why. But my recommendation to people who are planning on watching this movie, let's say you're going to watch it tonight at 7 p.m. or you're going to watch it, I don't know, whenever. I recommend before the movie starts or before you go to the theater, do something that wakes you up. Do whatever it is that wakes you up. Maybe doing jumping jacks wakes you up. Maybe you want to go buy a Monster Energy drink. By the way, this is not a paid sponsorship, so ignore that. or maybe drink some coffee, or because there are moments in this movie that did make me feel a little like it dragged, but it's still a great film. The other issue I have, and this is an issue I knew that was going to happen from the beginning because I was told um, about the Dune movie, is the ending. No spoilers, by the way. When the movie ends, it doesn't feel like the ending of a movie. It feels like a midpoint. Like it feels like the middle. It feels like this is the story you have, and the movie was just shortened to half, and it's kind of promoting the next film. And when the movie ends, I've always said that when you end the movie, it needs to be satisfying. Whether it's the story you built, the epilogue, whatever, your movie needs to feel like there's a conclusion to satisfy the audience. This movie actually had that kind of ending, but you're still left like, wait a minute, we gotta pay for another version, and I did feel somewhat of that way. But when I rewatch it tonight, I feel like I'm gonna feel different. I feel like anticipating that the movie will not actually end. It will end, like they'll stop filming, but it won't end in the way that it's the story is complete. It's not. Let me use a good example. Hunger Games. In Hunger Games, we had 4 movies. Now, in Catching Fire and Mockingjay and Mockingjay Part One, there's a cliffhanger ending that leaves you like it wasn't at the climax of the movie that they ended the movie. It felt like they ended it right in the middle section of the movie. And while in the first Hunger Game movies, it wasn't like that. It did end teasing stuff, but it ended in a form where the story was complete. While Catching Fire didn't do that, and while Mockingjay didn't do that. Dune, you could say, is similar to Catching Jay and Mockingjay, or Catching Fire. I mean, did I say Catching Jay? Okay, man, I meant to say Catching Fire and Mockingjay, where there it felt like that, where there's this ending. It's not necessarily a cliffhanger. It's more of a oh, we didn't finish filming, so here you go, kind of moment. But I will say it's not Denis Villeneuve's fault. He was planning on directly after finishing the first film, they're planning on doing the second film, because even the movie at the beginning, when the title card shows up, it says Dune Part 1. I found that hilarious, mainly because I didn't expect that. I was just going to say Dune. I knew it was a Part 1, but still. Uh, so we so if you're expecting the complete Dune story, you're not gonna get it. And frankly, I'm glad that they decided to go with part two rather than just straight up go full 4 hours. Because while this movie is a really great movie, I could not stand this movie being longer, and that did affect my viewing experience. Where there was times where I'm like I remember there's this moment in the theater where I was just drinking soda because I was hoping that the soda would wake me up. Like I remember I wasn't even thirsty. And I was hoping that would wake me up. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's review. I really liked it. I enjoyed it. Now, first, who do I recommend this movie to? If you're someone who's loved the Dune books and has loved anything Dune related, or even liked Star Wars, the original trilogy, I think you're going to love this film because this movie is very faithful to the books from what I was told. If you like Timothée Chalamet, you're gonna get a lot of him. Even if you're a Zendaya fan, I'm not the biggest Zendaya fan, but if you're a Zendaya fan, you're gonna get more of her in this movie. If you're big into sci-fi, if you're big into political thrillers and chosen one kind of stories, then this is a movie for you. I believe you are gonna like it, but it depends the person. But before we go, if you're brand new to the channel and you really like this review, make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the notification bells. That way you can be notified for future content here on the channel. My name is Isaac, and I'm the host of this hereby multiverse of movies. And yeah, thank you guys for watching this Dune review. I've been wanting to do this review for a long time because I love Dune, or I love the trailers for Dune. And I'm so excited I finally got to watch it. But again, I please recommend you guys to, if you're going to watch this movie, watch it in theaters. I get it. HBO Max, it's free. It's free to watch this movie on HBO Max. And I know some of you don't have the time to drive to a theater. I know some of you just don't want to pay for a ticket at the theater, or some of you want to, maybe let's say you have a family and it's a lot cheaper to just watch it at home. I get it, but please support the theatrical business. Because remember, Dune right now is in trouble. There's a chance we won't get part two. Uh, but yeah, that's just my overall thoughts. And that's gonna be it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching, and please let me know if you have seen the movie. Please let me know in the comment section down below. What are your thoughts on the movie? But if you haven't, please let me know your thoughts. Are you excited? Are you not? Whatever it is, let me know your thoughts and concerns in the comment section down below. I'll be seeing you guys next time. Peace.